Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. So lackluster, right? I've been outside in the yard all day. I'm pooped. I said, let me come in here and do my Power Book 3 Raising Kanan Season 4 Episode 3 review slash analysis. Honestly, you guys, this episode was so I don't want to say boring. It just was a lot of dialogue that we really just did not need. I think we could have come to some of the same conclusions without the dialogue. At the same time, the episode does seem like it's simmering, right? Like it's coming to a boil, obviously. So it's just weird that a whole bunch of nothing is still a simmer. But you guys tell me what you thought of this episode. Put it down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. It wasn't that it was boring, right? Because we like context. It was just, things were just oddly placed, weirdly placed, that type of thing. Some of it felt very, very deliberate, and some of it felt forced. Maybe it's just me. This episode is entitled Bygones, and I'm not really sure why. If you guys know, put it down below. Like, help your girl out. What do you mean bygones? Like, let bygones be bygones? Ain't nobody letting nothing go in this episode. Nobody is letting anything go in this episode. I will say, though, I'm interested in seeing what's going on with the Famous character, because it seems like everybody asks about Famous in some capacity, in some way, this episode. This episode, episode 3, Bygones, was very heavy on the Thomases. We got pure uncut Thomas. This episode, from Lou to Marvin to Big Mama, Kanan and Crystal. We got a lot of Juke this episode. Juke goes to her first ever gay bar. Is it a gay bar for the ladies, or is it called a lesbian bar? I think it's called a lesbian bar. And you know, it was a moment. Listen, let's get into this episode. We're gonna talk about Unique. We're gonna talk about Unique first, because things about to really, really pop off with Unique in the next few episodes. So let's get him on out the way. Unique rolls up on Richard and Sonny, the Asians that own the spot. Remember, they was working for him first. Unique had the brilliant idea to run the drugs through the Asian spot. And when it came out that he was deceased, Raq took the spot over. I mean, she didn't take it over by force. She took it over because it was a brilliant idea, and she needed a spot, right? So it wasn't like she took it from him. I don't know why they're forcing this character to remember her in this real weird way. At the same time, he is slightly obsessed with Raq, right? Like, you hate her, but you love her. You don't want nobody else to have her, right? Like he confusing his love for her with hate. It's weird. Anyway, he rolls up on them, takes all the drugs, takes all the money, and unalives both of them. It's a real sad state of affairs. And we see where he not only does that, but he's coming out of Kanan's apartment building and darn near knocked Crystal down. This after he has unalived the Asians. So he darn near knocked Crystal down, and she's like, "Excuse you much?" And he was like, "I will snap your neck." He was giving us nothing but Ronnie this episode, baby. And he took 2 steps towards her, and she realized, oh, I done said too much. I done got sass at the mouth too much. This gonna be 1 or 2 times that Crystal get real sassy at the mouth with somebody, and trust me, she's gonna regret it, right? So she runs on inside and goes on in, and he goes on about his business. Later on, we see where he goes by, and he sees Early. And he tells Early, here's your money, I'm paying you back. Early was like, where you get this money from? It was 2 agents that was killed. Da, 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 da. I was like, Early, why is you bringing this up? You know this man is not stable. You know this man is Pet Cemetery in the mind. Why would you bring this up? So he pushes back on Unique a little bit about where he got the money. Unique want to know, you want this money or no, right? You've been complaining about your money. You got your money. You want to take this money. You want to get his money back. And of course, Early want the money. And Early told him, listen, I don't know what's going on with you, but you playing fire with fire. Unique say, I am the fire, and I'm finna burn this muddy ducky down. I was like, okay, that's the Unique we know. That's the Unique we know and love. Not this tick tick boom Unique. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I think I watched my Twisted Life of Poetry review the other day, and for episode 2. And she said she don't really like the way Joey Badass is playing the Unique character. And I'm like, well, you know what? Joey Badass played Unique in a real suave, cool, street savvy kind of way, right? And so he don't really have a lot of experience as a mentally unstable, brain injured, that's not really his thing. And I think he's mixing the two. What is going on? Why can't I unlock my phone? Okay, you finna get me locked out. He doesn't really know how to mix the two, right? So I think he kind of stuck in this weird place. I don't hate it, but I have kind of divorced myself from the Unique character, because I already know what the end of this is gonna be. I already know, And so I'm kind of divorced from the character, but I could see in this episode what, she was kind of saying. Like, he's a little weird. He doesn't have as much witty banter and that type of thing. He's being very stalkish, and it's really a little bit more physical and menacing than it was his character prior to being mollywopped. That character was just smooth, just full of energy. He always had like a lollipop or a toothpick or something, you know what I'm saying, like in his mouth. He just was charming. And this Unique is just, ugh. So I kind of see her point, but at the same time, I don't know that he has any good resources to pull from. To me, he seems so much more like Ronnie than anything. And I wish he could get that character out of his head and just be the Unique, the injured, broken, wounded Unique in a different way. I hope that makes sense. Y'all let me know. Put it down below. He also goes by Pernessa, and he's looking at her and his son through the window, and he goes up to the mailbox and he puts like this huge envelope full of cash, leaving Pernessa a little money too. This is the other Unique, the old Unique. So there is some glimpses of the old Unique. It's just that he can't maintain it anymore. He can't balance it anymore. So that's pretty much Unique. Let's talk about, ironically, let's talk about Kanan. Okay, Kanan was the other character in this episode that we didn't really get a lot. We got some things, but we didn't really get a lot. We see where he's bringing his grandma her meds. He wants her to take those meds. And even though he was at the doctor's office with her when the doctor gave her the diagnosis, he still think The pills gonna make you better. And grandma lets him know, pills is not gonna make me better. I'm terminal. Yeah, it's all over my body, you know. But don't think that I'm just gonna roll over and let this all happen to me, right? You know, I'm still a bad mother sucker. And he was like, okay, well, you need to talk to the family about it. And she's pushing back against it. She don't really want to do it, and she know why. She know why. That she didn't necessarily treat her children in the best way. The way she reared them was not in the best way per se. And so she really don't want to have this conversation with him. She don't want, you know, and she says it. If they wanted to know what was going on with me, they would come by and see me. But you know why they not coming by and see you? Because you nasty acting. You nasty acting, and they don't have time for that, okay? At the same time, she was like, I'm surely not going to them. Anyway, she does end up eventually setting up a dinner, and this is how the episode ends, with the dinner. So Kanan is still being pretty faithful with his grandmother. You know, he's being forced to be the adult here, and he's being forced to be the adult because of his mama and because of his grandma. You know what I'm saying? Like, once again, he being put in a position where he got to act like a man, be a man. You know what I'm saying? Do man's business, right? He can't just be a high school student, you know. So I feel for Kanan in that sense. You know, you just getting close to your grandmother and you don't know when she's leaving. It's got to be hard. It's got to be difficult, right? We see where after Crystal encounters Unique, she talks Kanan into looking for a new apartment, which was a smart thing to do. Now, he should have learned from Marvin that you have your house and you had a trap house, right? He should have learned from Raq. You got your house and you got the trap house, right? So he's been taught these things. He's been taught these things. Why he think he can run everything out of that little makeshift apartment? It's people that's got keys to it. The little short guy from last week got keys to the apartment. All of the things, right? We also get to see, going back to Unique, where Unique eventually, now Kanan and Crystal have gone to several apartments. They see where the apartments are not great. They get discriminated against a little bit, which was weird because they should have been discriminated by the fact that they both was underage, right? Like, the first thing you do when you go see an apartment, even in the 90s, baby, you had to get your ID up. You had to get your ID up, some contact information up. You couldn't just, you know, let me see an apartment. Okay, let me show it to you. No, we need to get your ID. We need to know how to harass you in case you don't rent this apartment. So that was weird. Anyway, they found one that they liked. Kanan didn't want to fill out the paperwork on it, do the apartment application. Even back then, apartment applications, you paid to do the application. It could have been $15, $20. Sometimes that's how they brought you in. It was saying no application fee. Well, he didn't want to do all that. So he wanted to pay the guy deposit first month and the first 3 months. And the guy was like, no, we still need to run a credit check. And he was like, well, what if we give you a little extra credit? And Crystal really brought it up. And the guy was like, okay, cool. So they gave him a little grease on top just to go through, finish all the paperwork, and 3 months, and the deposit. And they got an apartment. It's a nice apartment. Crystal happy with it anyway. We also find out that Crystal don't want to go home because her mama's boyfriend is kind of handsy with her. So in the first episode, when I was like, Crystal, why you not at home? Now we know why Crystal not at home. She's not at home because it's not necessarily safe for her there. But you can't stay there, Crystal. You need to go and get you a job so you can make your own money. And then you need to see if you can get it signed up for some college classes somewhere. Get yourself a trade. Learn to do hair. Learn to do nails. I don't know. If you know like I know, you'll do heating and air. Child, electrical. plumbing, something where you could always have your own money. Get your CDL license, girl. I don't know what to tell you. Get your CNA license. You need to be able to make your own money because all of this is fleeting. It's just a season, baby. That's for all drug dealers. It's just a season. Child, but what does Miss Honey know? Anywho, so they found a nice apartment, which was just in time because, like I said, going back to Unique done bust into the apartment and he got the little short guy hemmed up. And we don't see what happens to the dude, but something tells me, he's going to be fodder. It's unfortunate. Unique is out here in these streets, baby, and he is wildin'. We also see where Kanan meets up with Juke, but we're gonna talk about that. Also, later on at the dinner, he has a real he held a mirror right up the Raq face. Raq was waiting on him outside. Okay, she'd already been over to his house. She'd been over to the old apartment, and I feel like she missed Unique by that much. Well, she had gotten a letter from the school that told her that Kanan hadn't been in school since New Year's, since before the new year. And so he done pretty much dropped out of school, basically, right? And Crystal's there, and she just let Crystal know, hey, Raq got her shades on. She looking bad. Bad as in, good. Not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good, right? And Crystal was like, you telling me or you asking me? I was like, okay, Crystal, don't get your face slapped. Don't get backhanded. You being real sassy at the mouth like you the missus of the house around here. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. You know Raq run these streets. Okay. So like I said, at the dinner, she waited for him outside. This was she wanted to talk to him about the fact that he hadn't been to school. She wasn't finna get into all that with Crystal because Crystal's just a child. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, oh, I know we'll meet again. I was like, ugh, Crystal, you need to send Raq some flowers, right? You need to send Raq some flowers. You need to take her some perfume around to her house or something. You need to make this right, girl, because you don't want to be on Raq's bad side. All right, so let's talk about Marvin. Oh, while I have divorced myself from my feelings with Unique, I can't quite all the way let Marvin go. I like Marvin and the Snacks. You know what I'm saying? I know it's like a 80s band, Marvin and the Snacks. Marvin is the first one that comes up on the Asian, where the police are, got it all roped off. And he learns and discovers that they gone on. He does go and he talked to Raq about it. And Raq is like, what is going on? We got to check the other restaurants. We need to get security staff over there and just make sure that this don't happen again with the other restaurants that we working out of. And he was like, cool, I'll get on top of it. And she was like, yeah, Andre, the lawyer, told me that you've been going by Stefano's. And he was like, what? The lawyer lying. He was like, no, he got good sources. Where the sources lying? You know how the police are. The police will tell you anything just to get you to talk. Now, Marvin is lying. He's doing a terrible job of lying. Raq know that Marvin is lying. And Raq know that Marvin is lying. And Marvin know that Raq know that he lying. You get what I'm saying? Like, we all know what this is. We can't talk about it right now because we got these other things going on. But we going to discuss it and we going to talk about it. The only thing he can come up with in terms of the Richard and Sonny being killed is the nephew. Maybe the nephew did it. I don't know where he would get that from. The guy was obviously timid. So Marvin goes over and sees him and hems him up and, puts a pew-pew to his head and tries to get him to confess. And he was like, wait, they're gone? And he was like, you didn't know? No. What about their daughter? No, didn't nobody talk about the daughter. And Marvin's got a real soft spot in this situation. Here's another orphan. and he remembers Gerald's daughters. And so he goes over to see, this is prior to Unique, but he goes over to see Early, because Early know what's be going on in these streets. And he gave him some money to keep his ear to the ground and see if he can find out who unalived the Asian restaurateurs. At the same time, he want to know if Early aunt or somebody got their connections in CPS, because he want to look up Gerald's daughter. At first, I thought he was trying to look up the Asian people daughter, and I was like, Marvin, you so kind-hearted. I mean, he let the nephew go, and he gave him his sympathy, and he was like, you know, going about your way and see about your cousin, right? And I'm sorry I brought this at your doorstep, and you let me know if you come up with anything, and I'll let you know if I come up with anything. So I thought that's why he was asking Early about the CPS, but he wasn't asking for that reason. He was asking because he was trying to find Gerald's daughter. He found the oldest one, gave her a little money, and hugged her up and just told her to, you know, keep your head up, and I'm giving you a little money. This felt like goodbye. This felt like a goodbye from the Marvin character, not just to this kid, but to us. You know, I'm going to give you my card. I'm going to give you my number. If you need anything, don't tell nobody. You know, this all for you. It felt like a goodbye. And it kind of halfway made me emotional. It's like Marvin is tying up loose ends. And he made it through this episode. I don't know. Though. How many more episodes we going to have, Marvin? You know? Even in the interaction between him and Juke. And we're going to talk about that. So, you know, it was just a tough moment. You know, it was a heartfelt moment with Marvin, but at the same time, it's tough for us as viewers, because I think we can all see now that Marvin is probably going to be, this will be his last season. I'm prepared to be wrong, but it just keeps feeling like it. Like, I'd never not think that he's not going to be out of here this season. Again, some of the writing is deliberate. Some of it, you know, y'all tell me what you think. So, let's talk about Lou and Brillo Pad, right? His name be Rilla. I think he like an ex-basketball player in real life or something like that, but the character itself, Brillo, is goofy. He goofy, and he's what's the word I'm looking for? He's ungrateful. He's obnoxious. Unbeknownst to Lou, Brillo is his new roommate. And Lou want him out of there. He's sleeping on his couch. He got food everywhere. They got the same Chinese food containers in every scene. And Lou was like, where's your money? Didn't they give you money? You supposed to be staying with your cousin? And he's like, I can't stay with my cousin. He got the whole family there with him. And I can't stay there. And, you know, Lou know he got an advancement already. He done blew through the advancement, which is how he ended up in jail, because he was robbing somebody. So Lou take him down to see the Jewish guy that run the record studio. And the Jewish guy don't really like B. Rillo, which I don't know why you got Lou to get him out of jail. If you didn't want to talk to the man, why you just have Lou find you some talent? Maybe because they can't find fame. But Brillo is another person that asks about fame. Anyway, they go talk to the Jewish record producer, and the guy got a bone to pick with Brillo Pad. Okay, he got a bone to pick with him, and I'm calling him Brillo Pad because his head looked like a Brillo pad, and the character itself, like, I don't know, he could be Breeze, because we know he going back to jail. We do know he going back to jail. You know what I'm saying? Every time he go, he might come out a little bit different. But I don't know if he could be the Breeze character, because this guy is so goofy. And the way everybody talk about the Breeze character was slick, was cool. You know what I'm saying? Was real, you know what I'm saying? He showed Kanan the game. Really, really showed Kanan the game. This dude, nah. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I could be wrong, but yeah. Um, so the Jewish guy tells him the story about his father and how they couldn't get jobs nowhere and do no work. And Lou was like, we need to resolve this. He need money. He need to get his own place, so on and so forth. The guy was like, I done put good money after bad behind this dude. And he treats me, he talks real crazy to me, talk real reckless to me, and I don't appreciate it. And then he goes about how his father, came into the country. He couldn't get no jobs because he was Jewish. Jewish people were looked down upon. And how he wants to be shown some respect. He also lets it slip that they didn't trust banks. And they used to keep large sums of money in their home. And, of course, Brillo was like, why would you tell people that? He was like, unfortunately, I fall into the same stereotypes. I was like, oh, could we be more obvious? So, obviously, B. Rillo is going to end up robbing this guy and probably going back to jail behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, some things seem very deliberate and very obvious in this episode. Y'all tell me what you think. Y'all think Brillo Pad gonna rob this guy, this record producer guy? Highly likely. Shake the magic 8 ball. It's highly likely, right? We see where Lou also goes to a AA membership and he gets his first pen. They get milestone pens for sobriety. And Raq is there. Now, Raq ain't been to nothing, but she at this. Did she miss Butters' debut? I can't remember. But she's there and Lou gets his pen. He goes up and he has this sort of really cathartic moment where he talks about when he tried to unalive himself and how he saw himself and realized that he himself was himself and wanted to, save himself, right? Like he had this sort of existential moment where he saw himself at his worst and at the same time he felt sorry for himself. And he wanted to save himself. And subsequently, he has saved himself. Now, that whole outfit he had on, I would have dated Lou. Keep it real, I would have dated Lou back in the day. Right? Them boots, that sweater, he was giving me Ralph Lauren. He was giving me Polo. Lacoste. Right? I was feeling it. It was a good moment for me, though. The actor who plays Lou, I don't know, it's a little flat. We get a lot of real flat commentary in this episode. You know what I'm saying? Like no real dimension. I felt like I knew where he was coming from, and it was emotional conversation. You could even see on Raq's face. She was really moved by what he was saying, and it was very poignant because this is how they daddy left this earth, right? And so it kind of shook her up, but at the same time it could have been nicer. It could have been more emotional. It could have had a little bit more dimension to it, but still a good scene. And her and Lou lock arms, and this is where we find out that Granny's having dinner and they all are supposed to go over to the dinner. But it was a good moment because it gave her and Lou a chance to talk and really reconcile. Remember when he tried to talk to her at the rehab, she was still real, I don't want to hear it, Lou. It's always something with you, Lou. And this time he apologized to her genuinely. He said he back. And it was a good moment. That conversation right there with them leaving the building and locking arms, that to me was a good conversation, and it had a lot of texture to it. Okay, now let's talk about Juke real quick, and then we gonna get to Raq and the dinner. Okay, so Juke is back at home. Marvin want to know how Juke want him to handle the whole army thing, because they've been calling after her. I told y'all they was coming for her. They don't do that. You don't just walk off. You can't do that. No, boo. And so she was like, no, I'll handle it. Well, she had, Marvin had just told her, you need to try to go to school because you're a smart girl. And she had done her research, I guess, and she realized that she could be let out of the services. Now, I got to watch My Twisted Life of Poetry Review. Obviously, I haven't watched it yet because I hadn't did mine. But, she was in the service. And so we'll find out whatever this little trickery she did. But I don't know if it's something that's just going to be real amicable that they're going to let her out. But they come by the house, 2 military guys from the Army, and they was like, you need to go back and answer for what you did, and we're going to get the military police involved if you don't want to go back. And she was like, no, you got to let me out on this technicality. And they were like, no. She said, look, I'm gay. And they got to whispering and talking to one another. And the guy was like, you might think you out slicking us, but you disgracing yourself and you disgracing the Army. And she was like, well, the Army has disgraced plenty of my people. Again, real flat conversation. What he said to her, she repeated it back to him. I was like, what's going on with this dialogue? And so they, give each other a nod and a wink, him and the other dude, and they decide, okay, well, we'll let you have this, get out on this technicality. I don't know if that means that she's going to be dishonorably discharged or she's just going to be honorably discharged. I'm not sure which one, but last week's episode, I think Twisted was saying that you can't join the police force if you've been dishonorably discharged. So maybe it was honorably discharged. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And we'll talk about it next week. And if y'all know, y'all put it down below. But just like that, it was over. It's like, voila, magic. It was over. They left, and they gonna send her paperwork, I guess. So she in her room throwing away her Army stuff, and she comes across some gear, back from when she had a crew and she was running the streets real good. And she goes to the college and she tries to get college courses. She don't really have no direction per se. She just taking some stuff, and she sees one of her old crew members that used to rob with her. And he invite her down to the bar later on. So she goes down to the bar later on, and she just realized it wasn't for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still want to rob and do all that stuff, and she just don't feel like doing all that. First of all, she don't want to be with all these dudes. You know what I'm saying? Drinking and carousing and all of that. She on something else, right? She don't want to do music again because she meets up with Kanan before she goes down there, and her and Kanan talk about it. And Kanan was like, okay, well, you're not in the Army no more. You're not going to hold any secrets. She was like, look, Kanan, I'm gay. I like girls, and anybody don't like it, they can step to me about it. And he was like, okay, come through, Juke. And she was like, yeah. And he was like, what about music? I'm done with music. Music ain't never did nothing good for me. I'm taking a few college courses. We're going to see where it go. I'll let you know when I know. And again, she brings up fame. Where's fame? Kanan said, I don't know what fame is. I asked his mama. His mama claims she don't know. I didn't tell her a lot because I'm like, is fame just disappearing to season 5? Like, what's going on? Are we going to see fame bodies? Like, I don't know. Juke said the same thing I said. She think he out in L.A. with his sister chilling. I'm like, well, how y'all know this? But the police don't know. This make me feel like maybe the writers don't know what they're going to do with the fame character. And depending on what they need and how they need to move the pieces, fame is either going to be in Witsec, and the police know all along and they playing like they don't know where fame is, or fame is already gone. We're not going to see him again. The character again, or Fame gonna come back at the end of this season and it ain't gonna be good for the Thomases. I don't know if that means he in Witsec or not. It could still be bad for them if he not in Witsec. You know what I'm saying? Because he might want to get back. He got a song on the radio, and the song is doing real good. This is the second time he done had a song on the radio. So I don't know if he's staying gone Gone, but we finna see. We finna see. I can't figure this fame situation out. Okay. Um, like I said, she goes to meet with her friends down at the bar, and she don't want to run with these folks, and she decides she gonna go by the lesbian club. And it's an OG lesbian that come by, and she was like, "Your first time? My first time, I stood outside for hours, blah, blah, blah." I mean, she go inside, and she does agree that it's a lot going on. These people are like a little bit older than her too, a lot of them. So, she's just trying to figure herself out. She's trying to figure herself out. At the same time, we can see Juke taking this much more studly approach. You get what I'm saying? Like, we can see right now Juke is not going to play the radio. And I fully expect in the next 2 episodes Juke to step it up a notch in terms of being more like the Raq than Raq is herself. You know what I'm saying? Like, she gonna be that girl. She gonna be that girl. She's not going to be a pushover. Juke is about to take a real sharp turn. She's already started. I could really see Juke, the jukebox we knew in Power. I can see it. I can see it coming a mile away. A mile away. So, Raq. After Raq found out about the restaurant situation, she goes to talk to the dude that kind of hooked her up with Quan. And, they got several, this guy owns several restaurants. And he don't really want to do it. She was like, no, we put security in the other restaurants, and we don't really know if it's violence because somebody tried to rob the place or if it's violence because of my business. And he was like, nah, it's too much violence. I don't want to do it. And she was like, well, you married? And he was like, yeah, I've been married 41 years. She's like, yeah, me and you married too, like real covenant type stuff, like to death do us part, right? You're not finna break this up. You're not finna divorce with me. Oh no, I got you, boo. We in this thing till the end. We gonna rock it to the end. And he is shocked and thrown off a little bit. What are you talking about, sir? This is a drug game. And you mean Quan? Who's very hard edge, right? But what Raq telling you throws you off a little bit, or you wasn't expecting it from a woman, a black woman, huh? Okay, y'all gonna quit thinking y'all can intimidate Raq. Y'all finna quit with all this, okay? So she does that. Nicely done, Raq. Then we see where Quan rolls up on her at one of the spots, and he want to know what she doing about Richard and Sonny. And she was like, I'm working on it. And he was like, either you gonna do something or I'm gonna do something. I was like, Quan, if you don't get your mullet out of here, and these random agents with shades on, y'all supposed to give us the feel that y'all is bad to the bone? Okay, whatevs. And Raq is like, you keep telling me stuff like you expected me to agree with you. I was like, girl, you done said a mouthful. You done said a mouthful when you said that. Okay, so she got a lot of irons in the fire, right? She decided, she meet up with Lou, and she was like, Lou, we got to do something. So they both go in to see Joaquin. And Joaquin tell him he don't do heroin. He do everything else, but he don't do heroin. And so she was like, well, who can help us out with the heroin? And he was like, well, you need to see Tremont. Now, I'm trying to make myself remember Tremont. Now, this the dude from Greenleaf, right? Because the dude from Queen Sugar, I thought got killed in the elevator. All right, so Tremont got to be the dude from Greenleaf. Well, Raq owe him one. You get what I'm saying? Like she owe him a two, you know what I'm saying, a mollywhopping. But what can she do? What can she do? She need a supplier, and she knows she can't deal with Quan much longer, right? She got to put this fire out and make herself whole some sort of way. So Marvin is okay with me with Tremont, right? He okay with all of that. And we see where Raq her and Lou talked about the dinner. So the next time we see Raq, now she still don't know about Andre. I don't know how they know about the Asians, but they don't know about Andre. I mean, at his firm, they not wondering why he didn't come in. Like, what's going on? Ain't nobody smelling no body. Like, we don't know about where Andre is. She still don't know about that. That's gonna make things that much worse when she find out about Andre. Okay. So they all at the dinner. She outside waiting on Kanan, and she tell Kanan, "You promised me that you would go to school. You promised me you would go to school finish school and go to college." And he was like, "What are you talking about? All the stuff you've done to me and had me do. You think I was just gonna go to school and be a regular ninja? You didn't even finish school." He was like, "Sometimes I really think you actually crazy." I mean, and he, you know what I'm saying? She definitely molded. She definitely molded behind it because it's the truth. It's the truth. Like, seriously, you still trying to get me to be an All-American, and you know you done raised me in some of the do and to be some of one of the grimiest ninjas out here. Really, really, Raq. Okay. So she go inside, and I couldn't help but notice that Raq was in the spot maybe where her dad would be, or maybe her mom is, but she at one end of the table, her mama at the other end of the table. So they both got, the helm, so to speak. And Marvin can see, and so can Juke, see that something is going on with their granny, with Granny and his mama. And he trying to kind of play it off a little bit, but she want to wait for everybody to get there. Raq come in, Kanan come in, and, Raq mama tried to be the old big mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, she tell Lou, get Lou a scripture, and Lou was like, "I know you ain't quoting the Bible, right?" Then she tried to have a little conversation with Juke about her next steps and all of that. And Marvin's like, "You got this. Don't worry about it," right? Like, everybody's like, "What's going on? You acting weird." And so finally, Raq just asked her, like, "Mom, what's up?" And she was like, "I got cancer. And I'm terminal. And, you know what I'm saying, it's bad." And Raq she realized the looks between Granny and Kanan. "Oh, Kanan, you knew about this all along? You knew this all along and you didn't tell me that. Again, Raq, you killed his father in front of him, right? You had him try to attempt to kill his father prior to that, right? You taught him how to unalive somebody, right? Two in the body, one in the where they think at, right? You ruined his relationship with Symphony. I halfway think you done set this whole mess up with General Mills, Snap, Crackle, Pop. Going back and looking at that episode last week, I halfway think that you working with Snap, Crackle, Pop to run your son back to you. You know what I'm saying? To have him deal with you and not them. You know what I'm saying? To put him in a rock and a hard place. These are the kind of games Raq play. So why would he tell you anything? I'm with Kanan on this. You need to take this mirror and take a long hard look. Same thing Lou was saying. You need to smell your own ish, cause it stank, boo. It stank. She go off on her mama. She hurt. Because now you got to show your mama love. You feel forced to show your mama love because your mama ain't long for this earth. And she resents it. Storms out. And that's how the episode go off. I did like the Big Mama character. I did like how that played out, because when she told Kanan about she was a bad mama jamma and she ain't finna ask them and I realized, oh, she's scared. She's afraid. She don't wanna leave this earth alone. She don't wanna transition alone. Nobody does. and she's afraid. She goes into defense mode at the table with Raq because Raq is like her number one arch nemesis, and vice versa. They both scared. They both afraid, right? What you gonna do, Raq, when your mama ain't here for you to hate no more? What your son gonna do when you ain't here to hate? You ain't here for him to hate no more. Like, who do we blame when the people we blame are gone? They both scared. They both afraid. They both feeling alone and vulnerable. I hope we see it come full circle. I think making the amends with her mom, it would help out between her and Kanan. I think Kanan needs to see that. We all know how this story ends ultimately with Jukebox and with Kanan. We can kind of see the end of the Marvin situation coming, right? But at the same time, I still be hoping and wishing and hoping and wishing. Y'all tell me what you think. You know, now that I've talked it out with you guys, it wasn't a bad episode. We did learn quite a bit. At the same time, I think I just want more. I think I just want more. And I hope this season doesn't disappoint. You guys tell me what you think. You put it down below. Listen, and until next time, honeybees.